Hi guys, so let's talk colour swatches. Here you can see I have swatches for all of the colours that I have currently in my palette. I thought we could go over some different ways to create colour swatches. Okay, so today we are going to talk about actual colour swatches, reference swatches. So we have all the information in here that we need to know about the watercolour. So I have lots of swatches here of all the different colours and all the information. So we'll talk about what information's on these charts and how to make them, and then we'll talk about tonal swatches. So going from kind of the actual colour lighter and to the lightest that colour can become. So let's get into it. Okay, before we begin, I wanted to say one thing about sort of some colour swatches that I've done. So this is the Hahnemuller sketchbook, and I've done quite a few sort of colour swatches, different types in here. So here I've just done some really, not sure if you can see the colour, the sparkle in these, some of these colours. So here I've just done some really large washes to kind of see what they would look like. Here I've got some pinks, some sort of blues and greens. You can see the sparkle there, I think. And here I've got some just colour swatches that I kind of did some glazing on and some lifting, and we'll talk about those things in another video. But for right now, let's just start with, sorry guys, so either my camera has just conked out itself or for some reason stopped filming, and I was just showing you that I had done kind of 4 points here. I eyeballed them and sort of ruled that out very roughly. Again, that would be cut out, and then I did sort of a gradient wash, which we talked about in part 1 of the videos, and then I just wrote the name there. And I will be doing a tutorial on my alphabet and kind of dip pens and creating that, so that will come at some point as well. So these are just your basic colour swatches, and they're really effective and really pretty. Then we have more of a reference chart sort of swatch. So again, I did the sort of 4 points there and just roughly sketched that out. And if you like to measure and enjoy that, then by all means, you know, make everything really nice and neat. For me, it just sort of boils down to time, and I've never really been good at measuring. So it's just not something that I do, but so what I did here was just create another sort of box at the top here, divided that almost in 2/3, and then divided that sort of in 2/3, and so we'll just do a swatch of this organic vermilion so you can kind of see here. So up the top in the corner here, I do the brand name. So here it's Schminker, here it's Daniel Smith, then I do the name right here, and then here is where I do the pigment information. So for here it's PR pigment red 188, and then this would be a transparency, is it if, and I have a little key for all kind of for all the things as well here. So okay, so I have a key here, and you can see that for the circles, they are for opacity, and we'll talk about that in one of the next videos. Open circles, transparent, semi-transparent, completely opaque or semi-opaque. And then up the top here, I've got the stars for light fastness. So 1 star is not good, and 5 stars is excellent light fastness. So that's up there. Here I have for staining, so is this going to be a colour that'll stain? Can I lift it easily? So NS for non-staining, low staining, medium staining, or just an S for staining. And then here I just have, is it granulating or non-granulating? let's just also talk about what I'm putting on here as far as color swatching. So in the very top, the top rectangle is basically the mass tone. So it's the color at full strength in full sort of capacity. And then what I do up here is wait till this dries and do another glaze and then sort of some lifting, and I kind of try and pull the lifting out of here as well, just to see how it is affected on like a lighter wash. So then I like to do kind of a wet on wet swatch, and so I kind of do I'm not sure if you can see here, but I am kind of doing a wash of water, and just kind of pulling that across. I want this side pretty light, and then in the corner up here I just always add a bit of extra pigment here. I used to like to do kind of, especially for Daniel Smith sort of granulating colours, I like to do a bit of a back run, so I like to drop some extra water in here and see how that kind of disperses. So down the bottom I'm just doing again some wet on wet, and then getting the colour and just dropping that in on this side to create that dispersion. So once the this top layer is completely dry, I like to then just grab the colour and then do a glaze. And once all of my swatches are done, I'll put them up on the blog as well. So I like to do a glaze, and then once that is dry, I kind of take some water on my brush here, and then I'll start wetting this and lifting it. To kind of see there how easily it lifts. And so the very last thing we'll talk about is a tonal swatch, making a tonal swatch. So again with the points here to kind of create the boxes. And then we're kind of dividing it up into sort of equal sized boxes here. Again, you can measure this and make it more precise. And we will use, let's do green gold for this. So get some green gold in here. And then we're going to just get some water on our brush and put in a bunch of water into here to really water this down and make it a really watery wash of colour. Okay, so once we think that's kind of almost at its lightest watery wash, we're basically going to paint this whole rectangle with this really pale watery wash of green or of colour. And because I don't want kind of the puddling here, like you can probably do it on thicker paper that's not kind of going to create that puddle if you really want these swatches to be pristine. So now we wait for this layer to dry, and we use the same wash again and again and again and again. Okay, so let's try the next layer. And so you have to wait until the first layer is dry. That's the most important thing about this, is that you got to wait until the previous layer is dry, completely dry, before you kind of add the next layer. Okay, so that's the tonal swatch all finished, and I'll just show you a couple of other swatches in case you just kind of want to swatch in your sketchbook and you're not really needing to do kind of this in-depth of kind of swatches. So here are some swatches that I did of the Coloro palette, and so I've just mixed the colour with each of these and kind of seen what that did. Here is, so I was just mixing Sleeping Beauty turquoise with a bunch of colours and just seeing how that would work. And then here are just some little swatches. And one thing that I really enjoy doing are the circular swatches, and just little swatches of colours that are similar to each other to kind of see the difference in colours there. So I didn't get a chance to show you the green pearl before, so let me just kind of show you this now. So it takes a minute to re-wet. Okay, so say I wanted to do a swatch of this pink here. What I can do is do the swatch at full strength, then dip, so then just dip and rinse, and this will create a tonal swatch as well. If you don't want to kind of do this, you know, extreme tonal swatches, you can, because they take quite a while, but you can do it like this and just, so let's get some violet here. Put the violet down, dip, put the violet down, and that way you can create some tonal swatches without it being, you know, without sort of waiting that whole time. So that's just another way that you can do some swatches there.